The Wrong Bride, The Right Heart. Previous episodes are available on playlist, a link is given in the video description. Episode 15. Chapter 160. Rylan, peering down at Tilly, I couldn't help but smile as I saw her look down at her dress once more before quickly smoothing it out. You look beautiful, Angel, I assured her, seeing those unique eyes snap to mine before she puffed out her bottom lip adorably. It isn't too much, right? Maybe I should have just worn my usual stuff. No. You look incredible, and it's about time you started wearing some of that stuff I bought you. I was beginning to think I had shitty taste in clothing. I had a closet full of clothes waiting just for her, but I knew it would be a struggle to get her to accept them. I know she struggles with accepting gifts, especially expensive ones, and I have a feeling it's mostly because of her family. They probably told her that I was throwing money and lavish things her way just to get her in my bed. Well, joke's on them, because not only did Tilly and I make love, but I plan on keeping her in my bed for the rest of my life. So she better learn to get used to this. I want to spoil her like crazy. And the fact that we can't keep our hands off of one another, it just proves that even more. I swear I have never been this attracted to someone in my life, and the chemistry. It's like our souls meet every time we touch. Tilly picked out a lavender-colored sundress. The sleeves were frilly and feminine, and the color. It made her light caramel skin even more delicious. I couldn't help but kissing every bare patch of skin I could find. The multiple hickeys I left on her neck and shoulders are enough proof of that. It was hard not to drag her back to the room and tear the dress off of her. But I know she is nervous to meet with Jolie, because really, this is our first time together as a real couple with my family. Before didn't really count, but now it's the real thing. I feel like I haven't seen my sister in weeks between being at the hospital and our mom drama. We just haven't spoken that much, and when we do, it's usually brief. So when she opened the door and those familiar green eyes darted right past me, I knew something was up. I don't know how, I just did. This gut feeling told me she had something to say, and she knew I knew. Tilly, wow, you look incredible, my sister announced, pulling Tilly into a hug which she didn't seem to expect. Thank you, you do too, and thanks for having us over. Tilly sputtered nervously, making my hand press firmly against her lower back as I reminded her I was right here with her. Tilly quickly handed Jolie some flowers that we bought along the way as Alder nodded towards me before extending his hand as we did some weird one-armed hug thing. Truthfully, it was a little strange that my sister had a boyfriend. I mean, she pined after Jamie for so long. I thought they would either eventually get together or she would own 7 cats by now. But seeing her with Alder and knowing he treats her right, it's hard to picture her with anyone else. Especially Jamie. I don't know what we were thinking. Hey man, how's it going? Alder asked me, glancing towards Tilly briefly as I couldn't help but beam. Great, we actually have some news to share with you guys. I started, glancing toward Jolie, who seemed to freeze. Oh, you do? She asked, making me narrow my eyes as she quickly took the flowers before turning and walking into her apartment. Yes, something is up. Now that Tilly's dad is moving to the rehab center soon, well, we decided to kind of make it official. Tilly is moving in with me. I dropped the bomb, making my sister pause before turning and meeting my gaze now. Really? Jolie asked, glancing between me and an adorably red-faced Tilly. Yep, she is stuck with me now, and I swear I didn't kidnap her. I teased, holding my hands up in surrender as Tilly elbowed me in the side. Jolie knew all about the Jamie confrontation thing and laughed when I told her what he said, so it was pretty much a running joke at this point. Oh I'm so happy for you guys. You really deserve this. Jolie choked out before running up and giving me a huge hug, which wasn't what surprised me, it was the tears that did. Are you crying? I asked in shock, peering down at my sister as confusion filled me. I mean, Jolie wasn't one to get overly emotional very often, not about mushy stuff like this at least. Sorry, it's just so amazing you two came together after all of these years. I watched as Alder lingered behind her, his hands reaching out as he pulled Jolie to his chest and whispered something in her ear, making her nod. Okay, you're me out. What happened? Did Nana die? I rushed, feeling Tilly grab my hand as Jolie began to laugh now. No. Nana didn't die. Thank God, I love Nana. I just talked to her a few days ago about Tilly. She can't wait to meet her. Why don't we sit down? Alder suggested, making Jolie nod as Tilly and I shared a confused look. We watched as they moved to the love seat while Tilly and I took the one across from them. This weird tension began to fill the room, making me overanalyze every little thing as I watched Alder tend to my sister carefully. Since when did they get this close? I mean, I guess I'm not one to judge considering I'm already wanting to run down the aisle with my girl, but Jolie and Alder, it seems like it's even more serious in just the span of a week. Wait, did he pop the question? That has to be it. So I don't really know how to tell you this. Jolie began, making me fight a smile as I caught on to what was going down. Alder, that sly dog, he knows how to make the moves, that's for sure. We just confirmed it yesterday, and I wanted to let you know in person. Gabriella kind of already knows only because I freaked, but I swear I wanted to tell you first. I just didn't know how to. Jolie rambled, confusing me now as Alder squeezed her hand tightly. Jolie looked at the man beside her, his head nodding in encouragement as he gave her a sweet smile when Jolie took a deep breath before saying something that shocked out of me. I'm pregnant. Alder and I are going to have a baby. I swear my jaw just about hit the floor. My eyes almost popped out of my head as the words echoed in my useless brain over and over again. Jolie's pregnant, my sister, my twin. I jumped to my feet, pure happiness exploding through me as lunged for my sister, surprising Alder as he quickly tried to pull her away. But he was too slow. Pregnant. I'm going to be an uncle. I rushed out, lifting Jolie off of the couch as she nodded her head and smiled big. Hey! Be careful with her! Alder snapped, making me laugh even more as I swung my sister around, feeling this happiness that radiated through my whole body. It was such an indescribable feeling knowing my sister was finally getting everything she ever wanted. I felt like I could cry. I was crying. I loved Jolie so much, and all I wanted was someone who would cherish her, someone who would treat her how she deserved to be treated, and I hope to God Alder keeps on doing that, because if not, I will kick his ass. I am so happy for you, Lily. I whispered, feeling my emotions spilling over as I saw my sister's overjoyed face. It was a little scary at first, but I'm happy too. Really? Really happy? She assured me, and I gently set her back onto her feet only for Alder to wrap his arms around her next. We are both really happy, he added. I couldn't help but share an intense look with him, trying not to be a prick, but I would like to think it said something like this. You better not hurt her or I will hurt you. He seemed to get it. My gaze eventually fell towards Tilly next as I watched her swipe away a stray tear, surprising me. What's wrong, Angel? I rushed, looking her over carefully as I saw her big watery eyes meet mine. That was just so sweet, she explained, making my heart swell as I pulled Tilly into my arms and kissed the top of her head. These past few months have been insane. I laughed, thinking of everything that has happened to all of us. Yeah, you're telling me. Jolie mumbled, making me chuckle. Well, at least you won't have to stress about telling Mom for a while. Since we weren't speaking with her about that she actually called earlier, I didn't tell her yet though. Oh God. Jolie smiled sheepishly, making me frown as I let out a sigh. What did she say then? I could only guess. She wants to throw a party for Nolan. She invited all of us. I told her I would think about it. She motioned between the four of us. Great, that's all we need, another one of Mom's parties. I glanced down at Tilly, seeing only support and understanding radiating from that beautiful face as she seemed to calm me immediately. Yeah, we will see. If Nolan wants it, then okay, we will do it, but if it's too much, I'm out. I know this is going to be a lot for him. This time we have a plan set in place, and I even offered for him to crash at the house for a few weeks just to ease into things. Of course Tilly was more than understanding. She is a saint after all. I agree, we need to be there for Nolan, Jolie added, and I couldn't help but feel apprehensive. I don't want anything to do what Tilly and I have, and my mom, she might try something. Especially with how she acted at the dinner. Only for Nolan, that's the only reason I will meet with her right now, and I am going to make that point very, very clear. I guess I better give her a call soon. I wasn't happy about it, but I would do anything for my baby brother, especially with the shit he has been through. Gabriella, hey, just take a deep breath. We will be there soon. Jamie reassured me, his hand reaching out and gripping my own as I nodded once, trying to calm myself down. I don't know if I was even this nervous on my wedding day. I mean, that was easy compared to this stress. What if Katrina sees me and realizes she still hates me? What if I'm not good enough? Stop your overthinking, my husband added, reading me like a book. I just what if she? I stuttered, trying to calm down before taking another deep breath. Grant let out a sigh from across the way, ready to add in his 2 cents while Jamie held me closer. Then it's her loss, but I really don't think she will. From what my brother says, she is a completely different person. Grant chimed in, causing my gaze to glide towards him. I couldn't help but smile from seeing Sammy's sleeping form resting against him. I know Grant was nervous too. Apparently, the Sammy reveal didn't go over too well. His brother was pretty mad that Grant kept it a secret. She does sound different over the phone. I won't lie, the Katrina I have spoken to is definitely not the same one I grew up with, but seeing her in person adds a whole new level of anxiety to it. We have even been texting every day, usually just small things or memes we find funny, but I never had that with her before either. Well, I know this is a lot already, but Gabriella, I think while we are here, we should get some clarity on Mom, because if Katrina knows something, Grant, I don't want to upset her. Wouldn't that be too much for one trip? Even though a deep part of me needs it. If Regina had a part in my mother's suicide, that would be huge. I know Grant needs to hear it too. Let's just play it by ear, we don't have to rush anything. We are staying for a few days, and if it feels right to ask, then we will. Well, since when did my husband become the voice of reason? I mean, that was a pretty understanding response for him in the past. He might have just gone behind my back and gotten the answers himself. Okay, I wouldn't put it past him to still do that, but he has been a good boy lately, so it's probably unlikely he would. Maybe. We're here, Grant informed us, making me lean over Jamie as I peered outside and watched as a huge black iron gate came into view. And here I thought you quit the mafia lifestyle, Jamie grumbled, observing the men with guns guarding the gate outside. It doesn't mean we still don't have enemies, Grant added, giving Jamie a smirk as my husband frowned deeply. You better be joking, Jamie growled, causing my brother to smile even wider. Don't worry, we are safe here. It's almost been 3 years and we haven't had any murder attempts yet. Well, besides that one time, but we handled that accordingly. I swear I had never heard Jamie gasp so loud. I began tuning them out, my thoughts filling with one person only as we passed through the guarded gates and made our way up the winding driveway. Nope, turn the car around, Jamie snapped, making Grant laugh and almost wake up Sammy as my eyes landed on the people waiting for us outside. Katrina. I rushed out, almost lunging over Jamie as I tried to get a closer look. I could see a young woman sitting in a wheelchair, letting me know it had to be Katrina from what my father already told me. She had on a stocking cap and was bundled up beneath a blanket. Next to her stood a guy who looked around my age, and I could tell right away it was one of Grant's brothers, most likely Grayson, with how close he was to her. But 11, though they didn't look too much alike, they seemed to have the same type of aura around them. Like they were born with this power and confidence they held. Yep, he's got it real bad, Grant mumbled to himself before laughing lightly. Hey buddy, we're here, Grant whispered while gently nudging Sammy awake, and I swear his eyes snapped open like the Energizer Bunny. Already? Did I miss anything? Sammy rushed out, making Grant shake his head no. Nope, all the fun is starting now. I swear when the car came to a halt I didn't know who was more excited to get out first, me or Sammy. But the moment Jamie helped me out, my eyes locked onto Katrina's green ones. I could see her face had a few scars, but truthfully she looked great. Even better than I thought she would. Gabriella. Her soft voice said my name, the look in her eyes filling with sorrow as I felt my heart ache. Caught. I managed to choke out, watching her gaze dart to my stomach and then back to my face. You look beautiful. Pregnancy suits you, she said, surprising me as I quickly made my way in front of her. You look beautiful too, Caught. I'm so happy to see you. I felt my voice crack with emotion, those tears now spilling over as Katrina quickly swiped at her cheeks, wiping away her own. You don't have to lie, I know I look horrific. She laughed, making not only me but the guy behind her frown at the same time. No you don't, Caught. I promise I don't think I have ever seen you this radiant. It was true, something about her just seemed so different in a good way, a way that made my eyes glue to her face and marvel at the happiness behind it. Told you, the guy behind her said with a huge grin as I reached out for Katrina's hand, seeing her hesitate for a moment before taking it. I watched as pink silk gloves slipped out from beneath the blanket, gripping me gently. It's so weird to see you here, like, in person and to hear and see you talk. She whispered, and I just nodded in response, unable to fight this smile that I couldn't hide any longer. So much has changed and I'm so excited to be here with you. I added, realizing a lot really has changed. I can't wait for you to see the facility. I'm the only patient here right now, but the staff has been so incredible and Grayson I guess you know who he is. Isn't that weird how all of this worked out? Katrina began to ramble. I won't lie, a twinge of guilt hit me. The fact that Katrina still thought this was a facility might not be a good thing. If she finds out the truth on her own, it will crush her. Before I could respond, Grayson pulled away from Katrina and stuck his hand out for me, which Jamie didn't seem to like too much. It's great to finally meet you, considering my brother almost ruined the chances on more than one occasion. I'm glad it all finally worked out. Grayson said, giving me a bright smile as Jamie pulled me closer to his side. What was his deal? And this must be Sammy then, Grayson added, going to look around us as Sammy hid behind Grant's leg, only making it so his blue eyes were visible. He isn't used to meeting a lot of new people. Grant explained, making Sammy look up at him now. Dad, who is that? I swear Grayson almost started choking. The look on his face filled with pure shock before he switched emotions just as fast and started to laugh, like, really laugh. Oh God, I love this so much. Let me look at you, kid. Grayson walked forward, causing Sammy to hug Grant's leg even tighter as Grayson crouched down, getting on his level. Don't worry, I won't hurt you. In fact, I'm your uncle, your cool Uncle Grayson. I'm your dad's brother. Just like Gabriella is his sister. Sammy blinked his eyes slowly, trying to process this information as he looked up at Grant for some type of reassurance. He is my brother, my annoying little brother, very very annoying and sometimes stinky. Grant said before plugging his nose to make a point. Hey! I don't stink! Grayson gasped, making Sammy burst into laughter as he finally began to relax. I glanced towards Katrina, seeing a big smile fill her face as she gazed up at Grayson happily. I told you it would be fine. You had nothing to worry about, princess. Jamie whispered against my ear, causing me to turn my head and look up at him. You're right, you always are. Thank you for doing all of this. I praised my husband, seeing that goofy grin fill his face as he bent down to kiss me. It was weird, even though we just got here and all of this was still so new. I felt like I was surrounded by family, real family, and I think Katrina felt it too. I continued to hold her hand as Grayson and Grant eventually stopped bickering so we could go inside. I just hope this truly is the start of something new, something I have longed for since I was a child, and maybe we will get even more answers about the past, some closure that both Grant and I need to hear. I just hope it stays like this because I'm starting to really love the little family Jamie and I are making. Not just with Grant and Katrina but with Jamie's parents and Jolie and Rylan too. Then before we know it, our own little babies will be here and I can't wait. Well, let's give you all the tour then. Welcome to Easton Estates. Grayson announced as the front doors opened wide before he started pushing Katrina towards the door as she kept hold of my hand. This really did feel so right. Katrina, glancing over at my sister, I couldn't help but stare as everything around me just seemed so surreal. She was actually here, and that meek and mild Gabriella I once knew, she was nowhere to be seen. This woman standing before me was like a completely different person. I could see the confidence in her walk. The way she laughed and smiled so easily, I never realized just how elegant and refined she truly was. Don't get me wrong, a part of me was always envious of Gabriella's natural beauty, the way her dark hair made those blue eyes even more prominent. But seeing her now at her full potential, there was no comparison. She was stunning. Well, especially now with the way I look, I almost feel embarrassed being seen next to her, not because of how she looks or anything, but because of how poorly I must seem in comparison. I'm happy for her though, more than happy. This is the life Gabriella deserves, and I can see she truly belongs in it. I am just grateful she is giving me another chance, that she actually came and seems excited to see me. I felt lucky. I never really had that type of sisterly relationship before. Yeah, Cecilia and I got along at times, but only because I was afraid to get on her bad side, so like the coward I was, I just did whatever she said to survive. Gabriella ended up being the one to suffer, and that guilt still sits deep inside of me. I know I can never truly make it up to her, but I will try. I will do everything I can to show her how much I want to change, to show her how sorry I really am. This is my second chance at life, and I plan on doing it a lot different this time. Wow, this place is beautiful, Gabriella whispered. My hand was still gripping hers tightly as I felt this new sense of comfort with her by my side. I didn't want to let her go. I was afraid something bad would happen if I did. I followed Gabriella's gaze, admiring the beautiful mansion around us, just like she was when Grayson bent down close to my ear. Are you getting hungry, kitty cat? Maybe you two can have a picnic in the garden, he suggested, making me turn my head and smile up at him happily. That would be amazing. I couldn't help but let my gaze drop to his full lips. That handsome smile he usually wore caused my stomach to flip as I tried to look anywhere else but there. Those grey eyes weren't much better though, not with how intently they were staring at me. Then I was thrown back to last night. We had stayed up watching a movie in the large movie theater they had downstairs when Grayson pulled me close to him on the couch. I won't lie, I've gotten very comfortable with him over the weeks. But last night was the first night I felt like he was just as comfortable with me, like maybe he was starting to feel what I felt. Obviously the guy is a big flirt and is always joking around, but I just thought that's how he was with everyone. Kind of like how his brother Hunter is too. They just seem naturally charismatic and flirty. But when the movie ended, I turned to see if Grayson had fallen asleep because he was being really quiet, and what I was met with were those grey eyes burning into me instead. You don't even realize how beautiful you are, do you? He whispered, catching me off guard completely as I just stared at him in shock. He always called me beautiful or cute, saying I looked good in everything, but I thought it was just him being nice. At that moment though, I actually believed him. I watched as Grayson lifted his hand, pressing his warm palm against my cheek as I slowly fluttered my eyes shut. The feel of his soft skin brushing across mine was unlike anything I had ever felt. I could feel him inching closer and closer to me, causing my heart to pound in my chest as I felt this overwhelming need to kiss him, but then he pulled away. We should get you to bed, he whispered before dropping his hand as I just sat there dazed. What Grayson doesn't know about me, what no one does, is that I've never even had sex before, not fully, and the fact that I almost died a virgin. How much more embarrassing could my life get? Don't get me wrong, I've done other things, just not that particular thing. And now, I don't even know if I ever will. But suddenly I find myself thinking about it all the time. Like, an embarrassing amount of time. I have even started having dreams about Grayson and me and I don't know how to stop it. What is this guy doing to me? Before I might have been considered a prude. I was called that a few times by a couple of guys I was dating, but I just never felt that urge to go all the way, like they didn't turn me on or something. I thought maybe that was another thing wrong with me, but since meeting Grayson, I know that isn't the case. If anything, one look from the guy and weird things start happening to me. Like right now. I nodded my head once, glancing back towards my sister as she continued to look around the mansion in awe. I know this place is a little odd to be a facility, but I really like it. It feels more personal and homey rather than those other rehabilitation centers that are more like hospitals. I asked Grayson how long they have been opening up their home for burn patients, and he said a few years now. But he never told me the backstory as to why. Maybe Gabriella knows more. It's just weird how it ended up being her half-brother who owned it. Such a small world, isn't it? Maybe it was fate all along, and if the fire never happened I never would have met Grayson. Of course it saddens me that my family died so tragically, but I am grateful I was given this second chance to live, this chance to meet someone like him. Why don't you take some time to freshen up and then we will get everything all situated for lunch? Grayson added, glancing towards my sister and her husband. God, that was so weird to say, but I could tell he really loved her. Especially with how he hovers around her so protectively. I saw it then too, though, especially on the day of their wedding. Do you want me to take you up to your room? Grayson asked me and I shook my head no. I can wait in the library. He nodded once, making me let go of Gabriella's hand for the first time since she got here as she quickly swooped down and gave me a surprise hug. I'm so happy I'm here with you, she whispered, making emotion swell up inside of me. Me too, I added, watching as she stepped back and took her husband's hand. Then before I knew it, I was wheeled into the library as Grayson bent down and fixed my hat carefully. I will be right back, I'm just going to catch up with my brother for a moment. God, you look so pretty right now. It's going good out there, don't you think? He rushed out, making me laugh. Really good. That's my kitty cat. Grayson winked at me, causing my heart to flutter as I tried not to show just how much that affected me. I will be right back, don't have too much fun without me. He added and kissed the top of my head before turning and walking out of the room. It took me a few moments to catch my breath as I let out a long sigh before smiling to myself and looking down. That's when I realized Grayson left his phone on the table beside me, making my brow furrow. He never forgets his phone. I went to grab it, my eyes settling on the screen as something lit up. I know I shouldn't have read it, it was wrong of me to do it on many levels, but as soon as I saw my name in the text, I couldn't stop myself. I felt it deep in my bones. This unsettling sense of doom and dread started to weigh down in my gut heavily. My trembling hand naturally reached for the device on its own as I clicked the screen back on. From Hunter, you better just do it. I mean, Katrina believes that our house is a burn rehabilitation center. Little does she know Grant only brought her here to find out about his mom. That's when my hand let go of the phone, my eyes growing wide as I tried to process what I just read. What does he mean? I felt sick to my stomach. The words I just read swirled around me as I tried to understand what they meant. I reached down, trying to grab the phone again to make sure I wasn't making this up as I came crashing to the ground. The pain didn't even register as I clicked on the text thread and scrolled back to it. From Hunter, you gotta tell her, dude. To Hunter, I will eventually, she is just too fragile right now. From Hunter, well, what if Grant decides he wants to question her? That's why he saved her after all. To Hunter, I will talk with him about it first. She just needs more time. If she finds out why she was really brought here, she might do something stupid. Then Grant will really never know, so he would be smart not to press it. Lies, it was all a lie. Everything I was told, the reason why I was brought here, even my dad, they all lied to me. I knew what they were talking about. It was something that had been weighing heavily on my mind. Something I wanted to tell Gabriella eventually, but I wasn't sure how to. So does that mean she is in on this too? That this whole time I was just being nursed back to health so I could provide answers to their missing pieces? I felt my cheeks wet with tears, letting my blurry gaze settle on the disgusting burn scars that were now my arms as I quickly ripped off my gloves, unveiling the truth of what I was: a pathetic waste of space. That's why Grayson was being so nice to me, why he wanted me to open up and trust him so he could get these answers for his brother. I was nothing, no. I was less than nothing, I didn't even matter. I slowly pushed myself up into a sitting position, my head turning back to the wheelchair as I tried to muster up every ounce of strength that I could to get me back into that chair. I put the wheels in lock and gripped the arms, pulling myself up into a standing position as I plopped back and let out a whimper. Fine, they want answers, then I will give them answers, and after that, there will be nothing left for me. I won't be their burden any longer. This will be my way of making it up to Gabriella. How could everything around me come crashing down so quickly? It all just changed in the blink of an eye, just like that night in the fire, except, why does this feel like it hurts even worse? Grayson, I couldn't wipe this huge grin off of my face. The fact that everything was coming together so perfectly just made it that much better. My kitty cat was happy, truly happy, and I didn't realize until now how much that affected me. I don't know when it happened exactly, but over the weeks that girl has become my sole purpose in life, my reason for everything, and I don't know how much longer I can keep it under wraps. Last night I almost gave in. I wanted to taste those sweet plump lips for the first time. I wanted to drag my hands up and down her body, exploring every imperfection she had and convincing her that was what made her so perfect. She was beautiful, scars and all, and seeing that smile on her face when her sister came out of the car, I felt that shit deep in my soul. I wasn't one to believe in soulmates. In the past I had multiple girlfriends at the same time, thinking monogamy wasn't for me, but since Katrina came into my life, there is no one else that can compare. It was like a part of me had been hidden away deep inside of her from the start, like the other half of my soul was tucked away, waiting for me to find her. I was a man obsessed, and it was scary. It started with the pictures. I would look through her old social media for hours, analyzing every video and image she took, picking apart how this girl isn't the same one that's with me now, and eventually, I began taking new pictures of my own. Images of her small scarred hands, the way the red skin made my heart race. I preferred her like this. And needing to be loved, she needs me and I need her just as much. I know it's a mess, but I've become addicted to it. Chasing that high I feel every time her hazel eyes light up when I walk into a room. I'm the only one she ever looked at like that. Me. Only me. But I also love seeing her grow more and more, knowing I am making a difference in her life. So when I say she is perfect, I mean it. And after today, I'm going to tell her just how I feel. I slipped my hands into my pockets, trying to not skip down the hallway like a lovesick teenager when I rounded the corner and came towards my brother's office. I couldn't believe he actually brought the kid. And strange enough, they actually look like they could be father and son. Who knew Grant would be the dad type? Okay, that's a lie, he always had it in him. I mean, he was the best big brother ever, so obviously he would be one hell of a dad. Hey daddy, how's it hangin'? I teased, making my brother frown as I swear I saw a shudder tremble through him. Never call me that again or I'm going to kick your ass. Grant grumbled, making me laugh as I plopped into the leather sofa across from him. Where's the kid? I thought he was permanently attached to your leg or something. He went with Gabriella to look around. I wanted to speak with you first. Grant explained, making me nod once as another smirk filled my face. Well, you managed to bring her here, but I'm guessing your plans of holding her hostage are no longer on the table. I would never let him live that down. He tried to kidnap her for sake. Wait, how many does that make? Maybe my brother has a problem now that I think about it. There's no need, Jamie and I have an understanding now. Gabriella can come visit me whenever she wants. So you are deciding to stay then? I said more seriously, feeling a little anxious about that. If Grant comes back, Katrina is more likely to find out about everything, which would not be good for us. Hunter thinks I should just tell her, but I don't think she is ready to hear it yet, and truthfully, I'm not ready because I know it will hurt her. I know she will question everything I've ever said, and that terrifies me because I meant it all and I can't lose her. Not now that I have her. Katrina is mine. Not exactly. I need to make sure Sammy is taken care of first. After the adoption papers are finalized, then we will look into coming back. But Grayson, there is another reason why I'm here, and I know you have grown fond of the girl. It's going to crush her. I blurted, knowing exactly where this was going, and I hated it. She will be okay. She won't have to know that's the reason why we brought her here. It's not the full reason. We wanted her to get better. I tried to defend myself, knowing that was my reason from the first moment I saw her. I wanted to see those eyes open, to hear her speak for the first time, to know what she was thinking in that beautiful head of hers. Grant just looked at me, his blue eyes saying it all as I quickly pushed my hair back before sighing. Maybe I can talk with her first just to see if she will come out and say it instead of her being interrogated. I offered, seeing my brother stand before coming over to my side. If that's what you think is best, we can give it a try. I kid you not, my mouth dropped open in shock. What? He asked, making me smile wider than ever as the memories of the old Grant flashed through me. I think that kid's making you soft. Soft? How has what I said made me soft? He scoffed, seeming offended. The old you would have tortured the information out of her the moment you stepped foot in here. Especially since it's about your mom. Grant was always obsessed with finding out information about his mom. And after Dad died, he did torture more than a few men to try and find anything. Would you rather I go that route instead? He asked with a raised eyebrow, causing me to shake my head no before standing. Nope, just forget what I said. See ya at lunch, Daddy G. I rushed out, hearing Grant cursing behind me as I couldn't help but feel this overwhelming sense of happiness. I would ask, caught gently easing her into this, and once we get some answers, then that part will be over. She will never have to know. I went to reach for my phone, making sure everything was getting set up for the picnic as I realized it wasn't in my picket weird. I headed straight for the library, picking up speed as I couldn't wait to see my kitty cat as I remembered putting my phone on the table beside her. I wasn't gone for too long, so she is probably just getting into one of those smut books I always catch her reading. My naughty little cat, she doesn't think I know, but I do. And just wait until I show her the real thing. I turned the corner, excited to get back to my girl, when I was suddenly met with an empty room, making my brow furrow. "Kitty cat!" I called, wondering where she went. That's when I saw my phone and went to grab it. I clicked on the screen, seeing I didn't have any new message notifications, but realized Hunter had sent me something. I read the text, my heart starting to race as fear began to creep up my spine. She didn't read this, did she? No. I must have just clicked it without realizing. I went to whirl around, panic coursing through my veins as I felt like my world had stopped. Where is she? Where did she go then? Maybe her sister got her while I was gone. Sorry, I just had to use the restroom. Her small voice filled the room, making my gaze snap up to her now sitting in the doorway, and I swear I have never felt more relieved in my life. You should have waited, I could have taken you. I rushed, walking straight over to her as I began to examine her carefully. Then I saw it, those hazel eyes that once lit up the whole room were now dull and lifeless, as the fake smile she held on her face resembled those I studied hours on end from the past. That's when I knew she saw them. She saw the texts. "Cat, there's something I need to tell you guys, it's important," she blurted, that once bubbly girl I had come to love now a mere shell like before. "Kitty cat, can you ask your brother and Gabriella to meet me here please? It's about their mom." I just stared at Katrina, seeing the emptiness she now held behind those hazel eyes, and it killed me. I found myself falling to my knees, the desperation I felt overpowering everything else as I came closer to her. "Katrina, it isn't what you think," I began, trying to reach for her hands as she flinched, pulling them away. That was like a punch to my gut. She hasn't done that in weeks. "Please Grayson, don't make this harder than it already is. I just want to get this off of my chest. I owe it to her." She choked out, the way her voice cracked caused my heart to split open. I could see the betrayal she felt. I could feel it crawling along her skin as she shrunk back into the chair further and further. "Can we talk about this first? Can you just let me explain after? I just want to do this first, please," Katrina begged, those hazel eyes finally meeting mine for the first time as she reached out and grabbed my hand. "Now. I promise we can talk after," she tried to reassure, her smile not quite reaching her eyes as I nodded and went to stand. "Okay, but I'm not leaving your side, not until you let me explain." She nodded once again, her hand going to pull away as I gripped it even tighter. "We will go out and get them together." I didn't want to leave her alone. I couldn't leave her alone, not after what she read, not with what she must be thinking right now. I needed to fix this. I needed to show her just how much I truly care for her and how much she means to me, because it's all my fault. "Gabriella," I peered down at my hands anxiously as the sight of my small bump beneath it made my heart ache softly. I knew deep down that what Katrina was about to tell us might bring that clarity I so desperately needed, but I was still nervous to hear it. Unlike Grant, I didn't view my mother's death as her leaving me until recently. I always thought it was an accident and she would never leave me willingly. I saw her as my guardian angel, hoping she was still watching over me and I would one day make her proud of who I had become. But once the news came out that her death was actually ruled as a suicide, it changed everything. I felt abandoned and unwanted. Of course Jamie was quick to deny that, and truthfully, if it wasn't for him, I don't know how I would have been able to handle that news otherwise. He got me through so many hard times in the past few months, and now here he is again right by my side, getting me through this again. I know you have questions about what happened to your mother. Katrina began, her gaze focused on the empty space in her lap as she seemed to lack any type of emotion. She wasn't like this earlier. I glanced toward Grayson, his own gaze locked onto Katrina's face as he seemed to be deep in thought about something. He was the one who asked Grant and me into the library. He said Katrina wanted to tell us something, and that's when we were informed that it was in fact about our mother. I was too stunned to ask any questions. But when I tried to approach Katrina, she didn't even look me in the eyes. She just told me to sit down and that she wanted to tell me something. What I'm about to tell you, it has been weighing heavily on my mind, and I didn't know exactly how to bring it up. She confessed, making me nod softly as Jamie pulled me closer to his side. I was practically sitting in his lap at this point. When the fire happened, she began, her eyes fluttering closed as I watched Grayson go to reach for her. But the moment his hand touched her arm, she jumped. Grayson recoiled, hurt flashing across his face as he stared at Katrina sadly. "Just take your time, it's okay." I spoke up, seeing she was obviously struggling with this. "I overheard my mother say something. It was directed at my grandmother," she continued. "My grandma Georgia blamed what was happening on my mother, saying if she would have just let Amber run with Gabriella, that none of this would have happened. Instead, my mother chose to seek revenge." Katrina spoke quietly, the guilt clear on her face as she peered up at me. "She was there the night before she went to visit you and your mother. Grandma Georgie gave my mother the money to bribe your mom, but instead she used it to purchase the pills. She made her take them, Gabriella threatening your life if she didn't." I felt my heart drop. The memory of my mother's cold body lying in front of me was still so fresh in my mind that I couldn't help the sob that escaped me. I didn't remember much about back then, but that image, it was burned into me. She forced her. Grant muttered, his eyes wide with shock as the realization set in. He screamed, making Katrina flinch as tears started to fall from her eyes. "I'm sorry," she squeaked, making Grayson rush to her side. "Hey, it's okay, you didn't have anything to do with it." He rushed out, and I couldn't help but agree this wasn't Katrina's fault, not in the slightest. But I was no better. I watched as the abuse went on for years, even adding to it like a coward. I'm ashamed to have that woman's blood running through my veins, so ashamed. Her head dropped, the disgust she held in her voice making the room grow quiet as I started to pull from Jamie's warm embrace. "Gabriella," he warned, the worry in his voice evident as I tried to give him a reassuring smile. I know he was worried about me being too stressed for the babies, but I was a lot calmer than I thought I would be. "My sister needs me," I whispered, seeing his brow furrow before nodding softly as I got up and went towards Katrina. I couldn't help but reach out my hand, grabbing her silk-covered one as I heard her gasp in response. Thank you for telling us, and Katrina, you have no reason to feel quietly," I whispered, seeing those hazel eyes filled with so much sadness and despair. I don't deserve to be here. I should have died right there beside them, Gabriella, but maybe this was my reason for living, to give you the closure you needed. Don't you dare say that! Grayson snapped as anger seemed to pulse off of him in waves. Katrina just turned her head to look at him. The look in her eyes was empty and lacking any type of emotion. It's the truth, Katrina stated firmly. Katrina, that isn't true. You are so much more than they ever were, and I can see how much you have changed already. This is your second chance, our second chance. I rushed out, trying to get those bad thoughts out of her head. She couldn't truly feel that way, could she? I think I would like to go lay down, she suddenly blurted, making me just stare at her for a few moments, trying to think of what to say that would make this better. Truthfully, I didn't know what to do right now, and I could see Grant was struggling as well. This had to be even harder for him to hear, because I know he held a lot of anger for our mom leaving. So to hear she was murdered, it leaves a lot of what ifs. If she had lived, would she have gone back to get Grant eventually? I will take you, Grayson offered, making Katrina shake her head no. I can do it on my own. Before I could say anything, Katrina gripped my hand again, the look in her eyes filling with sadness as she stared up at me. Gabriella, I'm truly sorry for everything I have done to you. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but just seeing you happy is enough. Thank you for giving me this moment, she whispered, causing my heart to ache as I bent down, hugging her tightly. I do forgive you, God, I do, and with time we will grow even closer. I just know it. I rushed out, my words causing Katrina to break down into sobs as I suddenly heard glass break behind me. Grant, you just need to calm down. Let's go get some air. Grayson rushed as he stood beside Grant now, trying to calm him down. And you don't even think about going upstairs without me. I'm serious, Caught, wait for me. Grayson snapped as he tried to usher Grant out of the room. I felt my heart being pulled in two. I wanted to go with Grant and comfort him, but I also didn't want to leave Katrina alone. It's okay, go, your brother needs you, Katrina encouraged, making me frown as I glanced toward Jamie, who just seemed worried about me. I will be right back. Please just wait for us, I said, making Katrina nod once before giving me an encouraging smile. I could hear Grant yelling and breaking down. This news was really hitting him hard as I rushed towards the hallway with Jamie, but something made me pause at the door, my head turning back briefly as I stared at my sister for a moment. What I saw on her face was a look I will never forget, the look of a truly broken person, and yet I still walked out of that room. The worry I felt for Grant clouded my judgment as I heard his cries of anger and regret. But if I had known what Katrina was thinking of doing, if I had known just how deep that pain went, I would have stayed. I should have stayed. Trigger warning for attempted suicide. Please read with caution. Your mental health is more important than anything, Katrina. Sometimes I wonder why I was even born at all. Questioning what my purpose in life was even intended for. What was my reason? Why was I put on this earth to begin with? I think I've come to realize that maybe I never had one, not for me anyway. Maybe I played just a small part in this huge world around me, and perhaps that's all my life was ever meant to be. For a second I thought I did, that I found purpose in those grey eyes and handsome smile, but it was too good to be true, and let's be honest. I didn't deserve it. I didn't deserve him. Grayson could never love me. No one could ever love me. Everyone would be better off without me. The world would be better off without me, and maybe, just maybe, this pain will finally go away. I locked the bathroom door, my hands trembling as I swiftly pushed myself up and tried to stumble towards the bathtub. I knew I didn't have much time, so I had to be fast. I swung my leg over the side, practically falling into the empty tub as I gripped the kitchen knife in my other hand. I thought of how to do this, how to take my life and truly give myself the death I deserved. Of course I could be poetic and swallow the bottle of pills right down the hall, giving myself the same death my mother gave Amber, but that could take too long. So I decided to add a few more scars to my already disgusting body. I looked down at my wrists, the red rough skin making tears burn my eyes as I tried to psych myself up to do this. "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry," I whispered out loud, hoping those words reached who they were intended for. And then I filled my thoughts with the one person I had lived for these past few months. "Grayson, I'm sorry I couldn't be someone you could love, that I was a monster in more ways than one, but I swear my feelings for you were unlike anything I had ever felt in this entire world, and I will hold on to them until the very end." I felt like such a fool for thinking he could feel the same for me. I was so pathetic. I won't be their burden any longer. I pressed the blade to my scarred flesh, my eyes squeezing tight as I clenched my teeth together before slashing down my wrist. I cried out, the sharp sting aching uncontrollably as warm liquid gushed down my arm. "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, please forgive me, please," I chanted over and over, feeling like I was nothing more than a waste as I tried to grip the knife in my other hand, making another cut but unable to go as deep, and then I closed my eyes waiting for this pain in my chest to finally disappear. Waiting for it all to disappear. This is how it should have been from the start, and now everyone will be happier, so much happier. I just wanted to fade away into nothingness, and I almost did. But he wouldn't let me. Why wouldn't he let me? "Grayson, 15 minutes, that's the time it took for me to calm Grant down and realize no one was with Katrina. No one was with her, she was all alone, and I knew in my gut what that meant. I knew what she was planning to do. Once the realization set in, my eyes widened in horror. I ran to the library first, just to make sure, and the moment I saw it was empty, my heart dropped. "What is it? What's wrong?" Grant asked, seeing the horror I must have shown on my face. I had just talked him down from his own turmoil, and here I was thrown into my own personal hell. "Call an ambulance right now." I rushed out, feeling like my soul was being ripped from my body as pure terror took over. "Why, what happened?" Grant yelled. "Katrina is in trouble. Just do it." I knew I shouldn't have left her, I knew it. I rushed towards the stairs as I raced up, taking 2 at a time. My heart felt like it was about to burst out of my chest. A fear unlike any I have ever felt before made time stop as I ran to her door and went to push it open. "What's wrong, Grayson?" "Katrina just went to lie down," the nurse Diana said, making me curse under my breath as I shoved the door open and flew into her room. Empty, empty. The bathroom. I ran to that door next, going to push it open when I found it locked. "Katrina! Don't you dare do this to me! Open the door right now!" I yelled, banging on it loudly as the woman behind me gasped. "What is it, Grayson?" Diana asked worriedly. "Katrina found out about everything I need to get into this room back up." I didn't even give her time to process my words before I stepped back and threw myself into the door. "Let me help," Grant offered, not even realizing he was there. I stepped back, letting Grant try next as he kicked the door, and that's when it went flying open with a bang. Red, all I saw was red, and then I saw her. Katrina. Her name came out of me in a strangled sob. Her skin was pale and her eyes shut lightly as her head lolled to the side. I could see her wrists dripping with blood as it covered her lower body. There was so much. No, no, no. God, no. I fell to my knees, crawling to the tub in desperation as I reached inside before scooping her up. You can't do this to me. I won't let you do this. I rushed, trying to cover her still bleeding wrists as people began to move around me. I had no clue who was all in here. She was all I saw, her and the blood that poured out of her. We have to stop the bleeding, Grayson, a voice said, but I wasn't here, no. I was thrown into the depths of despair as I watched the woman I loved slipping away from me no matter how tightly I held her. Kitty caught, how could you do this to me? I croaked, feeling hurt and betrayed as I couldn't believe she could really leave me. Did she not feel what I felt? Did she truly not realize how much she meant to me? You didn't let me explain. How could you do this? I lifted my trembling hand, brushing her cold cheek as blood smeared across it, making me sob uncontrollably. She has a pulse, but it is fading. We need to get her to the hospital right away. The nurse rushed, making a small spark of hope flicker inside of me. You can't leave me, Katrina. I won't let you. I gasped, going to stand with her in my arms as a new sense of desperation filled me. The ambulance is here. They are coming up now. Grant explained as he placed his hand on my back, helping to guide me out of the room. I just nodded my head, unable to speak as I stared down at Katrina's limp body in my arms. If she dies, if she leaves me, this will ruin me. There will be nothing left, absolutely nothing. I knew I should have made her listen. I should have sat her down and explained everything beforehand. I knew it. This is my fault. If I would have just told her, if I would have told her everything, then this never would have happened. Grayson, you have to let her go. They need to take her now. Grant suddenly said, breaking through my thoughts as I realized I was clutching Katrina tightly to my chest, not letting the paramedics take her from me. I want to go with her. I rushed, making the man standing in front of me nod once. Of course, but we need to hurry, he stated, motioning for me to place her on the stretcher they had waiting for her. I quickly put her down, my mouth brushing along her face and cheeks as I hurriedly kissed her for what might be the first and last time I ever did. How was that? I had been a coward and now I might never get to tell her how I feel. I will follow behind you, Grant stated, making me nod once. I'm sorry, Grayson, I didn't realize. This isn't your fault, it's mine. This is all my fault, and if I lose her, Grant, if I lose her, I broke down, placing my hands over my face as I saw the paramedics connecting all sorts of wires and things to Katrina's limp body. They will do everything they can to save her, Gray. Grant tried to assure me, but I couldn't stop this helpless feeling from taking control. What if they don't? What if they can't save her? I can't even imagine a world where she doesn't exist. There is no such thing, because without Katrina my world stops right there. Sir, we have to go. The paramedic rushed, and I nodded before hopping into the back of the ambulance. I will meet you there, Grayson, Grant yelled before the door was slammed shut, and all I could do was stare at those bandages that now covered Katrina's wrists. I will never forgive you if you leave me like this, and when you wake up you are going to know exactly how much trouble you are in for doing this, because now you are never leaving my side, and I will chain you to the bed if I have to, just to make that point clear. Just don't leave me please, Kitty caught. I still need to tell you how much I have fallen in love with you, so you can't leave me, you just can't. Trigger warning for mentions of suicide. Katrina, I always wondered what happened right before you died. Would there be some bright light that fills your vision, pulling you toward wherever you are meant to go next? Or perhaps would I just exist beyond my body, being able to observe and watch the people around me, seeing how much happier their lives could be without me? Neither of those things happened. In fact, the last thing I remembered was slashing my wrist and feeling my head become lighter and lighter, making me drift off into a dizzying sleep. A sleep I didn't expect to wake up from. So when my eyes began to flutter open, when the sound of machines beeping filled my ears as I saw a white ceiling above me, I couldn't help but feel like I had failed again. Why was I still here? I felt something heavy by my waist, my hand seeming to be locked in place as something weighed it down heavily, and then I saw him. Grayson. He looked like an angel, and for a moment I thought maybe he was. I felt my other arm raising, my hand reaching for the man sleeping against me as I took advantage of the moment. Just seeing him hurts, knowing that everything he said, everything I felt, it was all a lie. And I can't blame him, he is a good brother, unlike me with my sister. Grayson would do anything for his family. Not to say I wouldn't now, a part of me did do this for Gabriella. I wanted to disappear from her life forever, I wanted to erase those horrible things I did to her. She deserved a life full of love and happiness, and just looking at me caused discomfort. I let my fingers glide across Grayson's tan cheek. The way his golden brown hair glowed made a halo effect seem to surround him. Why did you save me? I barely croaked, feeling my throat tighten as the words came out more like a raspy breath than anything. Suddenly another movement caught the corner of my eye, making me turn my head as Gabriella's beautiful face filled my vision. "Caught, you're awake!" she sobbed, making Grayson start to stir as I quickly pulled my hand back, not wanting him to catch me. "She's awake!" Grayson practically jumped up, his grey eyes wide with shock. I could see the worry etched on his brow, which surprised me honestly. Grayson stared down at me, making my skin prickle beneath his intense gaze as he studied me intently. I didn't want him to even look at me, not after realizing he probably said all that stuff just to get me to trust him. He must think I'm hideous. I didn't know what to say. Should I apologize for making such a big scene? Should I tell them they don't have to stay because I shouldn't even be here to begin with? Don't ever scare me like that again. Grayson choked out, tears filling those grey eyes as he suddenly collapsed on top of me, hugging my body tightly as I just froze beneath him. "Katrina, we were so worried about you," Gabriella added, coming to my other side as she gripped my hand tightly before leaning above me. I could see Jamie hovering behind her near the corner, and I felt embarrassed. He was probably upset with me, thinking I did this just for attention or to upset Gabriella like something Cecilia would do, or even my mother. But I swear I didn't. I swear I didn't expect to be saved. Maybe I should tell them that. I'm sorry it didn't work. That was all I could think to say. I was sorry I was still here because it didn't fix anything. I'm still the same burden they had before. No. Now it's worse. Now I'm upsetting them even more. Grayson froze, his head rising as he peered down at me with hurt-filled eyes. You're sorry it didn't work? He repeated, making me nod my head as I turned it before closing my eyes and trying to swallow down this emotion that threatened to explode out of me. I didn't want it to be like this. You don't have to stay. I swear I didn't do it just for attention. I rushed out, feeling that guilt piling up higher and higher. Stop, no one thinks you did this just for attention, Katrina. You almost died. Grayson stated lowly, his expression growing more serious by the second. Caught, we are going to get you some help, someone you can talk to. Gabriella added, and I shook my head no. You've already done enough, you guys don't need to help me anymore. Clearly we do, Katrina. Especially since you tried to. Grayson trailed off, struggling to get the words out. I thought it would be best for everyone. I'm just a burden. Don't even say that. You are not a burden. You were never a burden. Yeah, Grant brought you here for different reasons, but the moment I saw you, I knew you were special, Katrina, and if I have to drill that into your brain then I will, but get one thing straight, I never lied when it came to anything else, and I'm going to prove that to you. Grayson rushed out, his voice becoming more hysterical as Jamie suddenly stepped forward. Grayson, why don't we go for a walk? We can let the doctor know she is awake. Jamie suddenly interrupted, the things Grayson was saying causing more guilt just to rise up. I didn't realize he would be this upset. Grayson just stood there gripping my hand tightly as his gaze burned into me intently. Fine, but please just look at me first, Katrina, please. He whispered, making tears well up inside of me as I slowly met his gaze. Almost losing you was the scariest thing I have ever experienced in my life. Please promise me when I walk out of this room, you won't do anything like that again. Grayson pleaded, his hands sliding up as he brushed the side of my cheek. Please, I just need to hear you say it. I need to know you will be safe right now. He pleaded once more. I won't do anything. I whispered, making Grayson sigh in relief as he suddenly bent down before pressing his lips to my forehead, surprising me completely. Good girl, thank you so much, kitty cat. He whispered, lingering for a while longer as I felt myself breaking all over again. I wanted to throw myself into his arms to beg for forgiveness as I sobbed and wailed uncontrollably, but instead, I stiffened, not sure what to do or say as he finally pulled back and stepped away from the bed. It took him a few seconds to finally leave, his head turning as he looked back at me a couple of times before stepping out into the hall, and that's when I turned to Gabriella. Caught. She whispered, and then the dam broke. A deep and primal sob tore from my chest. This pain of not feeling loved or wanted ripped through me as Gabriella wrapped her arms around my body tightly. I know it's okay, let it all out, I'm here for you, I love you, Katrina. She spoke those words that I always longed to hear, not just from her but from any of my family, because I've realized I've been alone for a very long time, even before the accident. Grayson was the first person to ever see me, the real me, and when I realized that was a lie too, there was nothing left. I'm sorry, I thought it would help, I thought if I was gone it would make everything better. I cried out my confession, feeling Gabriella start to shake beside me. I just got you back, caught, you can't leave me now. I finally have my sister. She sobbed, her words tearing into me and creating fresh wounds. But not ones of pain and loneliness, these wounds were filled with remorse and guilt. So many people care about you and we want you to realize that. I know things have been hard, but we will get through this together, okay? She reassured me, causing my head to nod up and down as I continued to sob as that pain pulsed through me. All you can do is try, right? Gabriella added, making me nod as we continued to hold on to one another tightly. I have never felt this much emotion in my life, and in a way, it felt like I was mourning a death, my own death, and I wasn't sure if I could live or what that would even look like now, but I will try. At least right now I will try. That's all I can do, even if I still feel like I don't deserve it. Tilly, I felt Rylan press his mouth to the hollow of my throat, making a shiver tremble through me as I tried not to react. We were in the hospital after all. Rylan, you are going to get me in trouble. I breathed, feeling my body start to react in ways only he could make it. But I didn't get my fill this morning. He grumbled, making me giggle as his hands started to wander next. I'm sure we will more than make up for it tonight. I didn't think it would be like this. I mean, I always fantasized about what life would be like if Rylan ever noticed me. But this, it's so much more. I feel like Rylan knows me. All of me. Not just my body, but my mind too. I swear, just one look and he knows what I am thinking or feeling. And he makes me laugh, really laugh. It's almost like he has become my best friend too, not just my boyfriend. Which he is, officially. He kind of just came out and said it. It happened a few days ago when we were lying in bed after Rylan and I made love, and he slowly began tracing his finger along my stomach. Now guess what this one is? He whispered, dragging his fingertip up and down a few times as a smile twitched in the corner of my mouth. A star. Correct, you get one kiss for that. He praised, making me laugh as he lifted up and pressed his mouth to mine roughly. Now I'm going to spell something. He mumbled, his words tickling my flesh as he dragged himself back down my body. Ready? I nodded my head in response, closing my eyes so I could focus as he pressed his finger back to my torso. I began tracing the letters in my mind, spelling them out as they came. M-I-N-E. I said each one and fluttered my eyes open before meeting those bright green ones. Now what does that spell? He asked with a grin. Mine. I breathed, the intensity of his gaze making my heart race. And what does that mean, Angel? He asked, making me swallow hard as I tried not to freak out. That I'm yours. It was more of a question than anything. I mean, we have talked about being together and living together, but we didn't really label it yet. Good girl, you are mine, my Tilly, my beautiful girlfriend. All mine. Girlfriend, that word made so many emotions run through me, and the fact that it was Rylan Walters saying it, I couldn't believe this was real. You want that, right? To be my girlfriend? Rylan asked, making me nod shyly as the biggest smile filled his face. Good, because if you said no, I might have to kidnap you for real and lock you in this room forever. Rylan. I gasped, laughing as he pounced on me before smothering me in kisses. I can't wait to make you Mrs. Walters though. He added, causing me to stiffen as he quickly pulled my legs apart and settled himself between them. You want that too, right, Angel? He asked, staring down at me with that look that made my brain turn to mush. Yes. I whispered, You are perfect, absolutely perfect. He groaned, wrapping his arms around me as he held me tightly to his chest before rolling us over. I won't ask you until your papa is better, and once I get his permission, then I am making you mine forever. I know, shhh, it's okay, I feel it too, I feel it too. He rushed out desperately, kissing my face and cheeks as my tears rolled down them. I have fallen for this guy so fast and it was terrifying but in a good way. I think Rylan felt that too. He knew this was a little crazy and yet it felt so right, so the words I said next, those words I have felt even before all of this came tumbling out of me. Rylan, I love you. I confessed, making Rylan gasp as he pulled back and peered into my eyes. Do you mean it, Tilly? He asked, the vulnerability in his words making me nod hastily as he lifted his hips, sliding deeper inside of me. I love you too. I love you so much that I swear it's making me crazy. His lips smashed to mine, those words we just said making everything even more intense as I lost myself in Rylan completely. His taste, touch, smell, all of it surrounded me as we truly made love, and we continued to say those words over and over again until we were both grasping onto one another as we came. Afterwards, we lay in bed, enjoying one another as Rylan's words settled into me. Rylan just said he wanted to marry me, right? That he wanted to ask my papa for permission. I know he didn't have to, but to know he wanted my papa's approval meant a lot to me. Because even though things might not be great with my other family members, my papa has actually been getting to know Rylan. He asks about him all the time now when I call and even looks forward to his visits. Mama hates it, I can tell, but she hasn't said anything yet. And Shayna, she is even worse. I haven't seen her since the first time, really. I mean, she comes to visit Papa occasionally, not very often though. But when she does, she just looks at me and Rylan with disapproval before whispering to Mama about us, I'm sure. Since today is the day Papa goes to the rehab facility, I know she will be here and I'm honestly a little nervous about it. But if I have Rylan by my side, everything will be okay, I know that now. I love you, Angel. Rylan whispered, pulling me closer to his chest as he bent down and kissed my lips gently. Before I could respond, the doors opened up and that's when Rylan and I both turned, seeing Mama and Shayna standing across the hall. You're late, Mija. We are about to sign the discharge papers now. Mama snapped, narrowing her eyes at me before turning and walking towards Papa's room. I felt my cheeks redden with embarrassment as Shayna just stared at me with her arms crossed in front of her chest. You know you are being very selfish. Mama says you haven't been staying late anymore. Are you really letting this rich boy consume your life now? Shayna asked in Spanish. I know Rylan could understand a little, so the fact that she is saying this right in front of him was so rude I couldn't even believe it. Instead of responding, I just ignored her. Going to walk towards the hospital room as anger began to boil up inside of me. How can she even say that to me? She had been here like 4 times total. She isn't even working at the restaurant anymore. I have been taking the lunch shift, that way I can make sure to be here with Papa during dinner. Rylan says I should take some time off, that I am overworking myself, but I know Papa needs the money, and even though I'm not living with them anymore, I still have most of my check deposited into their account. I feel so guilty living with Rylan and not contributing anything financially, but he keeps assuring me that I don't need to. But with him driving me to and from work and bringing me off lunch every day, I grow more indebted to him as time goes on, but I swear I will make it up to him somehow. Don't listen to her, okay? You are doing so much for your family. Rylan whispered, making me take in a shuddering breath as I nodded before plastering on a smile. Even though Papa couldn't see it on my face, he could hear it in my voice, and I didn't want any of this drama reaching him. After Mama signed the discharge papers and we thanked the staff for all that they have done, we started to head downstairs to bring Papa to the shuttle bus. Rylan managed to get him a really nice wheelchair, which was probably way more expensive than he made it seem, and he refused to let me pay for it. Mama didn't even say thank you, really, I mean, she muttered the words, but you could tell it wasn't genuine. Papa, on the other hand, was almost in tears. It just about killed me when Papa grabbed Rylan's hand and thanked him for everything he had done and for watching over me. I swear I almost broke down into sobs. It also made me happy to see how much my Papa accepted Rylan. Mama stood beside Papa as the nurse pushed him off of the elevator, and that's when a sudden gasp escaped her. "Shayna, come!" Mama rushed, making my brow furrow as I noticed them glancing towards a man. "What is it?" Rylan asked, and I shrugged. "It is him, we can't let him see her." I swear I heard Mama say, making me even more confused. "What's wrong?" I asked, going to approach them as Mama seemed to blanch. That's when I saw the man they were speaking about. He seemed to be older, maybe even as old as Papa. He had on a perfectly tailored suit with salt and pepper hair, but he definitely kept in shape. Truthfully, I would think he owned the building with the way he was standing there. But once he turned, that's when a gasp escaped me. Because this man, he had something I had only seen when looking in the mirror. His eyes, they were the exact same as mine. "Rylan," I went to walk forward, not realizing everyone had stopped but me as I pulled Tilly's arm before looking back in confusion. "What's wrong? Why did we stop?" I asked curiously, peering down into those blue/green eyes as I realized they were locked onto something across the room. And then I turned to look what it was. That's when I saw him, Bruce Remington. I didn't know the guy well, but he frequented the restaurant that my parents owned. He and my dad also attend the same country club together as well. I never personally interacted with him, but I have heard the rumors about his sons. They were a piece of work, that much I know. At least that's what Mom says. Apparently he has been married a few times, each providing him with a son as they fight for the position of who will inherit Bruce's fortune when he passes. "Well, Rylan Walters, is that you?" Bruce suddenly stated, his eyes locking onto me as I suddenly realized something else. That's when a weird feeling of familiarity began to wash over me. Did he always have eyes like that? Eyes just like Tilly. Wait, this can't mean what I think it does, right? I quickly glanced toward Paula and Shayna, noting their shocked expressions as Bruce began to approach us. "Mr. Walters, I thought that was you. Where has your old man been hiding? I haven't seen him around in a while." Bruce laughed before reaching out and going to shake my hand firmly. That's when my instincts kicked in. My other hand pulled Tilly to the side, making it so she was hidden behind me as I could feel her body was stiff and frozen in place. "Mr. Remington, I didn't expect to see you here. My father has been taking care of some personal matters lately," I said lightly, trying not to show how stressed I felt while shaking his hand firmly. "Bruce Remington was someone you didn't want to mess with. He came from old money that could buy the building beneath my feet in a matter of seconds." "But how did Shayna know him? He couldn't be that man, right?" "Ah, you know how it is, the older you get the more tests they have to run apparently. What brings you here?" he asked, glancing between me and Tilly's family as some type of familiarity crossed Bruce's eyes. Paula quickly turned, pulling Shayna with her before stepping towards Mr. Martinez, who was waiting in the wheelchair a few feet away from us. Just visiting with some family friends. I lied, not wanting to draw attention to Tilly, who was now clinging to my back. I see, and the young lady hiding behind your back? Bruce asked, seeming amused while motioning towards Tilly, making my stomach drop. This is my girlfriend, but we really should get going, the car is waiting for us outside. I rushed, giving Bruce a forced smile before I went to turn and wrap Tilly in my arms. Just as I did, Bruce stepped forward, reaching his hand out. Wait, are you not going to introduce me to the girl? He asked, causing me to curse under my breath. They clearly didn't want him to know about her. Why was he so persistent all of a sudden? I glanced towards Paula, seeing her head shaking no as her eyes pleaded with me. Perhaps another time. We are running late as is. I said more firmly, making sure Bruce didn't see Tilly's face as I started to usher her toward the door. Yes, perhaps. Bruce muttered, causing me to feel even more protective as I guided Tilly outside and straight for the shuttle. But as soon as the cool air rushed towards us, Tilly seemed to snap out of whatever trance she had been in, and when I looked down, I swear I saw a wave of anger like no other fill those beautiful eyes as she locked them onto Paula. Tilly stomped toward Mrs. Martinez, this look of anger showing me a side of Tilly I never knew, as I couldn't help but think she looked even more adorable. Completely enraged. How was that possible? Who was that, Mama? Tilly snapped, causing Paula to glance back towards the hospital nervously. We will speak about it later, Paula stated, making Tilly cross her arms in front of her chest as she shook her head no adamantly. No. Now I am done being kept in the dark. I deserve to know, Tilly demanded, making me tower behind her protectively as I watched Mr. Martinez being loaded onto the shuttle carefully. Paula began chewing her lip, her gaze falling on Shayna now as she seemed indifferent about the whole thing. In fact, she was glaring at Tilly now, seeming mad at her for some reason. What was her problem? Fine, but not out here. Let's get Papa to the facility first and then we can talk tonight, Paula answered, causing Tilly to think about this for a few moments before letting out a long sigh. Okay, but no more secrets. I'm serious. I want to know everything, Tilly whispered, making Paula nod yes as I could see the fear still present in her eyes. We will ride with Papa and meet you two over there, Paula offered, making Tilly agree as I reached down and took her hand. Let's go, Angel, I whispered, pulling on my girlfriend's hand before stepping towards the parking lot. We walked to the car in silence. The situation seemed to weigh heavy on Tilly's mind as I tried to think of what to say. Rylan, who was that man? Tilly suddenly asked, making me pause for a moment. His name is Bruce Remington. He goes to the same country club as my father. He owns shares in one of the largest oil companies in the world, I explained, seeing Tilly's brow furrow as I reached up to smooth it. Hey, we will get some answers soon, okay? You saw it too, didn't you? His eyes, they were just like mine, she whispered, making me nod as I pulled her to my chest tightly. You don't think he does have a few sons? I interrupted, knowing where this was going. I would like to think Bruce wasn't her dad, because if he was, that would make Shayna 14 when she was pregnant, and that is disgusting, considering Bruce would have been in his late 30s. Then they might be. She trailed off and I nodded my head. Of course we don't know that for certain, but the fact that they have the same eye color, and that is a hereditary trait, right? It could just be one big coincidence, but seeing how Shayna and Paula were acting, I don't think it was. Come on, let's go get your papa settled into his new room and then we will get all the answers we need, okay? I whispered, making Tilly peer up at me like the sweetest little lamb. Ugh. She was so innocent and sweet. Why did I want to wrap her in my own little bubble and protect her from this cruel world? She needs to be protected at all costs. If Bruce is related to her, what does this mean? Why would Shayna and Paula want to hide Tilly from them? What happened all of those years ago, and why has Tilly been kept a secret this entire time? I just don't get it. But I hope we get some answers today, because Tilly needs to know the truth. Thank you for being here with me. Sorry there is always so much drama. She grumbled, making me laugh lightly before bending down and kissing her head. You're worth it, and besides, have you met my mother? I'm used to the drama. I reminded Tilly, making her finally smile at me as she nodded her head in agreement. Remember, you're stuck with me, so don't think you can try to scare me away now. I teased, hearing that beautiful laughter I loved so much as I kissed her sweet lips firmly. It was true, though. I don't think there is a single thing in this world that can keep me from Tilly, not even someone like Bruce Remington, that's for sure. Join our Facebook and WhatsApp group for more updates, link is given in description. Rest audiobook will be continued in next episode.